Oh, Victoria.
You wanted to see me?
Yes. Please, sit down. Whoever invented these things didn't have summer in mind. I'll wager 10 years from now, judges won't even be wearing them. They're a holdover from the Middle Ages, when people were awed by ceremonial ritual and pomposity and all the rest of it. Victoria, I'm not even going to comment on Nick. But Jared, that's something else. That's something very, very dangerous.
I know.
A doctor doesn't operate on a member of his family. How can you expect a lawyer to act with any degree of emotional stability when he's defending the life of someone he loves?
Well, maybe he'll settle down.
Are you really willing to risk that?
What would you advise?
Get him off the case, Victoria. I don't care how you do it, but do it. Otherwise, Heath doesn't have a chance.
Jared?
Well, which was it? That famous story about how he took you to your first dance? Or one of his enlightened lectures on the obsolescence of the law? I saw you go into his chambers.
Jared, Judge Lansbury sent for me. He's concerned about you. He feels that because of your personal involvement, you could use help.
I'm surprised he didn't ask you to have me withdraw from the case. You know, if this weren't so tragic, it'd really be funny. Daniel Maness, that great champion of justice, who'd sell his rotten soul for one line of publicity, comes all the way here to prosecute Heath. The presiding judge tells me I need help, and by sheer coincidence, one of the best lawyers in the state just happens to be registered at the local hotel. Because his wife throws him out of her 40-room mansion and tells me to go take a little holiday. Maness and Springer, those two alley cats. They've been waiting for the last 5 years just for the chance to tear at each other's throats.
But if Springer could help us, does it really matter?
That's the funny part. It does. There's not a thing I can do about it. Let the record show, Your Honor, that in addition to myself, the defendant will be represented by Mr. Nathan Springer of San Francisco.
So, you got nothing to say, huh?
Mr. Barkley's questioned me a dozen times. I'm tired of being questioned.
That's what Manners told you to say, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, I don't have to say nothing until he puts me on a stand.
Well, that's true. That's true indeed. Just a darn shame.
What is?
Little fellas like you, always getting caught in a squeeze.
What do you mean?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it?
To me, it's not.
Pete, who's the richest family in Stockton?
Barkley.
Who are you testifying against?
Look, I got nothing to worry about just as long as I tell the truth.
Pete, let me give you a little lesson. Money is power. In San Francisco, I could have you killed for a dime.
I saw what I saw.
Oh, I'm sure you did, Pete.
Mr. Springer, I saw what I saw.
Mr. Perkins. Come on in.
Here's your answer from Chicago.
You married, Mr. Perkins?
Nope.
Who do you talk to mostly?
Now, look, mister. Anything that comes in over my wire is strictly confidential.
An honorable man. Well, now, that's hard to come by these days.
Thank you, sir.
Heath was out of his mind, insane. He fired once, bam! He fired twice, bam! And then Parker failed. Then I went back here, and I got this axe handle, and I sneaked up on him. and like a wham right over his back.
Yeah, Doc, yeah, fine. That's very dramatic. You know, I can see it now, packed courtroom. You and all your glory swinging that axe handle like some latter-day Don Quixote. Too bad I'm going to have to expose you for what you are.
What do you mean?
Don't play games with me, Doc. I've had you investigated by the best detectives in this country. Now that we, understand each other, I don't suppose that you'll deny that you are married to a woman whose maiden name is Vera Henderson, who lives at 24 Elm Street, Chicago, Illinois.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing, Doc, nothing. Except that you are also married to a woman whose maiden name is Alice Duggan, who lives at 111 Randall Terrace, Kansas City, Missouri.
You trying to blackmail me, that's what you're doing?
Oh, Doc, temper, temper.
The first time Charlie Whitehorse fell from that balcony. Now tell us what happened immediately afterwards.
Oh, well, everybody gathered round.
Yes. Or did the defendant confront Parker Atlas?
Yeah, they had some words.
Words. What kind of words?
Well, they were both kind of mad.
And did the defendant threaten Parker Atlas?
Well, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was noisy in there. I'm just not positive of everything that was said.
You were positive when you were questioned by Sheriff Madden. You were positive when you spoke to me less than 2 days ago.
What are you picking on me for? A lot of people were closer than I was.
I am not picking on you, sir. I am merely attempting to get at the truth.
God, 10 bar, that's what I'm paid to do, not to mix into petty squabbles.
Slaughter of an innocent human being. And you call that a petty squabble. No further questions.
The witness is excused.
The prosecution calls as its next witness Dr. Arnold Tully.
Mr. Manus, I'm told that Dr. Tully is not in the courthouse, that he left Stockton late last night.
Congratulations, Nat.
Oh, thank you, Jared, thank you.
Pretty neat day's work. Tully, McGinn. The old 1-2. Wiped out before they ever hit the witness chair.
Well, I always did believe in research. Thought you'd be happier.
I've never suborned a witness, Nat.
The idea is to win.
The idea is justice.
Well, you tell me about it as we're watching your brother kicking from the end of a noose. We'll listen as he's sucking in the air, and we'll watch him as the spittle drips from his chin. And you can tell me about justice. Judd, you asked me to help you on this case. You knew exactly why I came back into this town. I need you and you need me. Let's stop your wailing about legal ethics. Right now, I'm just trying to save that boy's life.
Thanks, Joe. Why so glum? You should be dancing a jig. Don't you realize that half the prosecution's case went right down the drain today?
I didn't like the way it happened.
All that happened is that a couple of liars lost their nerve.
Is that all there was to it?
Heath, a trial is a very unpredictable thing. You never know how a witness is going to behave till they get right into that chair.
Somebody got to McGinn. Somebody got to Tully. Process of elimination.
I pick Springer. Jared, I've never known you to compromise before. Don't start now.
Listen, Heath, I'm no saint. You think I can put a bunch of abstract principles about my own flesh and blood?
But if I get my freedom, I want it clean. How do I live the rest of my life, not knowing whether I murdered a man? Never knowing for sure whether I'm innocent or not. I've got to know.
Well, then I'll tell you right now, you didn't do it.
Jared, stop coddling me. I'm not sure anymore. I think and I think. And I know what Charlie meant to me. And I think about seeing him on that filthy barroom floor, wasted and disgraced. Why wouldn't I kill somebody who did that to him?
Because I know you're not built that way.
Jared, I could have done it.
All right, Heath, let's go over it again. Every detail right from the very beginning. You were running down the alley. What happened then?
I reached the barn door, and McGinn and Tully tried to stop me. I brushed them aside and rushed into the barn. I heard a noise, and that's when Vandiver and Parker got up from behind some boxes.
Wait a minute. What noise?
I don't know, just a noise.
A noise from where? Think, Heath.
From the loft.
You heard a noise from the loft.
TJ.
TJ Dice?
Dice was in the loft. Jared, he must have seen the whole thing happen.
State your name, please.
Gustavus S. Vandiver.
Mr. Vandiver, what is it that you do? What is your occupation?
I'm a land speculator.
Then I take it you own land here in Stockton.
No, Mr. Atlas owned the land. We were partners.
Well, how long did you know the deceased Parker Atlas?
I met him during the war. Same company.
Hey, look,
I've turned this town inside out and upside down. He's gone, Jared. Nobody's seen him since the day of the shooting.
Keep looking, Nick.
That's when we decided to become partners.
All right.
Now, Mr. Vandiver, please, tell us all exactly what happened after you and Parker Atlas entered that barn.
We kept quiet, hoping you wouldn't find us.
He?
Well, he's Barkley.
Go on.
But somehow he knew we were in there. I don't know, maybe he heard the door shut. But he knew, and he came to get us.
Mr. Vandiver, exactly what do you mean by get?
I mean, kill. It was written all over his face. Craziness. He was practically